Is Eberechi Eze on his way to Man City? What? Nah, what? No way. Could Chris Richards be on his way to Stuttgart in replace of Dino Mavropanos? Who knows? Palace have also registered some interest in Emmanuel Dennis of Nottingham Forest. Could that be a move that we're looking to make in the future? Crystal Palace looking at Kerr Smith. A lot of things going on today on another edition of Palace News. Be right back and be with you in just 1 second. Yo, what it is, what it should be. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Palace News. I'm your host, T. For today, I might be getting joined by D. We'll see. I know you got a little bit caught up, but, we are always here to provide for you all any way we can, man. So let me move this up a little bit here. There we go. Cool. So another day, more news, more rumblings, more things that we might hear about the club. But before we get going on that, to everybody tuned in right now, as the numbers grow and things like that, we're always looking for more and more support because it helps us as a channel. So please don't forget, like, comment, subscribe. Does so much for us. You guys have no idea. We really have seen so much support from you all, and to help grow the channel. All of our ride or die guys that are in here, that are in here almost every single day with us, man. Shout out to you all. Bollock, what's good? Monty, what's going on? Louis, my man. Me and Louis, we've been connecting via Twitter too. What's up, Louis? Luke, what's going on, man? So shout out to all you guys and all you that are going to join here in a second, man. But like I said, don't forget, if you enjoy the stream, remember, like, comment, subscribe. We really, really appreciate that. So getting into it, the first thing we're going to talk about. So Man City has been looking for a replacement for Riyad Mahrez ever since he accepted the money to go over to Saudi Arabia. They've been looking for a replacement on that right wing. It was Michael Elise was in there, and we know, luckily, grace of God, he's coming back to us. And then Jeremy Doku was the other person that was really, really rumored with them. But apparently they're having trouble with getting Jeremy Doku's signature on the dotted line. So now there's rumors that they may be interested in Eberechi Eze. This one is a weird one for me because Eze's not a winger. Let's be honest. All truthfulness, all honesty, he's not a winger. Not only that, he's definitely not a right winger. He's played on the left for us a little bit, left midfield, some kind of like a little bit of a inverted inside forward on the left wing, but never anything substantial as far as true winger play. So that's why I'm kind of leery with that one. To be honest with you, and especially with echoing what we've heard from our chairman, Steve Parrish, a move this late is not going to happen for one of our guys unless it's a crazy amount of money. And so I don't see this one happening, but nonetheless, it could. It definitely could. So let me get into the chat here, say what's up to some people. Geico, what's good, bro? How you doing, man? Good to see you. Is it Ionis Titus? What's up, man? Appreciate it, man. Appreciate the love. Amit, what's going on, man? Appreciate you all tuning in. My man Mitch is in here. If you have good players, the interest is in them. Absolutely, man. I mean, and that's something that I think as a fan base, we're kind of still getting used to, man. Like we're still, working our way with that. And I think the reason naturally is because of the fact that we, for so many years, only person that we would hear any rumors with from other clubs was Zaha. You know what I mean? But now we've built up a foundation of really quality, solid, highly talented young players, and it comes with the territory. And we don't necessarily have to be a selling club right now. And I mean, the time for that will probably come, but we'll see what happens. So Eze reckons it's his turn for a contract now. Yeah, I hope so. I mean, the rumors are that we tried once with an extension already, and it was turned down allegedly. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but my thing is, word on the street is with Elise's extension was 4 years, 100,000 a week. And if we're thinking about what we offered to Will, well, first of all, we lost Will's wages, which was I think 120, 130 a week. Not only that, we then also were willing to put out 200 to Will, so an extra 70 on top of the 130 he's already making. Of course, we know he turned that down. So if you think about it mathematically, it's like, hey, we probably got another 100 grand that we know we can throw out to offer Eze. So give me all opinions on that. Would you throw out 100 mil per week for 100,000 per week for Ebbs? I mean, I know I would. That's just me. I know I would. So yeah, seriously expensive if we sell now. Yeah, he really would be. I think he'll be seriously expensive even if we don't sell now, just because he's that quality of player. I mean, my thing is, I don't want to. I wouldn't make that sale, man. Like, we're talking about the creative fulcrum for our team right now. Now, mind you, we are bringing back Eze. I mean, we are bringing back Elise, but we do need him for sure. We do. Steve Cooper looks like he's just about to sleep always. Remember, lesson from Elise is that we never should sell players. The lesson is don't come to us with short money. Facts. I mean, we don't sell cheap. We don't sell cheap. Whenever we decided to sell guys, it hasn't been on a cheap. If you look at our recent record of selling players, we don't sell them cheap for sure. Good point, Bollocks. He could be a Kevin De Bruyne replacement. So that means you put him in the midfield with Bruno and Rodrigo then. Yeah, okay. SA must stay along with Czech Decore. Can't afford to lose either of them. Exactly. Not right now. Not this late. I mean, we're talking about, I think we're right at 2 weeks, maybe a little bit less than 2 weeks, man. We can't afford to lose anybody, man. We can't. Ioannis. I go by Yanni. Okay, Yanni. That's cool, man. Also, Stateside Eagle like you. Okay, right on, brother. We got my man D in here. It looks like D's camera's not working because I think he's on his phone. Can you hear me, D?
Yeah, I can hear you, bro.
Right
Bro,
on.
you were messing up my ears about a few minutes ago. I realized your mic's being it's being stuttering and stuff. This all
Is
saw
it?
you in chat.
I think it might be muffled because I had it on a pillow
I think
here.
it's touching your body or something. How you
Now
doing, bro?
I had something underneath it. I had something underneath it. I think that's what it was.
Oh,
So
okay, yeah.
yeah.
It's like there was a gun going on or something. It's like a gun war. I was
What?
like, what's going on? It's like, yeah, it's like a yeah.
All right, well, appreciate that, man. So D, just give me your thoughts on this whole Eze interest from Tottenham.
Well, it's look, we've had the same discussion with Elise. We've had the same discussion with Decore. And it will be the same with Eze. I mean, these are quality players, and Tottenham have been linked with him for a while in this window. In these Palace News episodes that we've been doing, Tottenham has been mentioned. But I think what makes it interesting is that Man City, according to the Independent, are now entering the fold. Now, I don't know why. I think he's got the ability to fit City, but I think you mentioned that as well. I was listening. I don't get why they would sign him because he's not an outright winger like they need. However, saying that, Pep tends to play players that fit his system rather than just a positional type of play. And I think Eze's abilities can fit City. And in a way, it is exciting to potentially to watch Eze in that team. Saying that, I mean, I think we'll just offer too much. City's entered that phase now where if the deal is right, then they will pay up for the price. They're not willing to overspend, and that has been the case for a few seasons now. So realistically, I just don't see him going to City. And Tottenham, we know how Tottenham are.
Yeah, they're not splashing the cash. think I might have lost you there for a second. D, can you hear me still? Might have lost D for a second there. I know he's on mobile. Can you hear me? You back?
Yeah, I can hear you. Did you hear
Okay,
me?
okay. Yeah. Okay, we got you.
Yeah.
Now you're saying Tottenham. You sound like you were about to say Tottenham won't splash the cash.
Yeah, there weren't. And I said how, with Tottenham, when it comes down to it, it's basically we saw it with Wilf. They're unserious. They're interested in players, but they won't splash the cash for Eze, and we don't need to sell
Exactly.
Eze in this window. If it was the upcoming summer, next season, then yeah, I'll be worried.
And it was interesting because Bollocks actually came up with a really good point when I was talking about the fact that he's not a winger. Why would they be looking for him? And here it is. Maybe he's a De Bruyne replacement.
Yeah, potentially, but I'll be honest. I don't think they're trying to replace De Bruyne right now. I don't know about you, T.
I mean,
They
I
got
don't know. I mean, they did say he's going to be out for like 4 months.
yeah. I mean,
But I mean, here's the
he
thing. I don't think they need to replace De Bruyne because you could play Phil Foden in that position if you wanted to. You know what
yeah.
I'm
That's what I'm
saying?
saying.
Like
That's my
they
point.
have
Yeah,
they
I don't
have
think.
guys. I feel like they have guys that they could put there.
Yeah.
I'm guessing is that what you're alluding to? The fact that they have people that they could put there.
Yeah, it's not urgent in terms of De Bruyne. De Bruyne to replace De Bruyne is going to be a miracle, anyways, because I think he's one of the best midfielders,
Oh, facts, facts.
in the world, and even when you look at Premier League history, he's up there.
Yeah,
But yeah, I don't think they would be willing to spend the money that Eze would require just to replace De Bruyne. That's how I see
exactly.
things.
And the fact that the money that you have to spend for Eze, not to mention, it's really more of a temporary stopgap replacement because when Kevin De Bruyne comes back, you're going to want to put him back into the team, and now you just spent an exorbitant amount of money on a guy just to be a fill-in. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't see that. I don't see that. I don't see that. So, but we'll move on to the second topic that we have on our agenda for today. So, word has come through Kicker that Chris Richards is on the radar of Stuttgart from the Bundesliga. So I think what's behind that is because of the fact that Mavropanos, Dino Mavropanos, is being linked with a Premier League move, and they're going to be looking to replace him. So the whole Chris Richards links has come in with that. Now, as you all know, Chris Richards is our third or fourth center back, depending on how you look at it. And looks like it could be a loan move. Looks like it would be a loan move from what the article is saying, and the fact that maybe we want him to get more first team starting chances. But would you do this move, D?
And well, it depends on how Roy views Chris Richards, which I don't think is high in the first place. You can see that. I mean, has he been used that much in preseason?
Mm-hmm.
Can't remember Chris Richards ever really been talked about. And even in the one time that we needed to use a centre back, it was Mark Gay off and Tompkins on. So I don't really understand the point of Chris Richards staying or being. First of all, I don't understand Chris Richards being behind James Tompkins in the pecking order. That's weird to me
Yeah,
because we've seen
yeah.
Chris Richards play not that many games for Palace, but whenever he has played, Chris Richards has looked solid. He has got the pace and physicality for the Premier League.
Mm-hmm.
But look, if he's not going to play and you want him to develop, then sitting on a bench is not really going to help him. So I'd rather he goes out on loan, and then if Tompkins, I don't know how. I assume Tompkins' deal is till next summer. Once that deal runs out, maybe Richards can come back with a bit more experience and be useful to this Palace side. But right now, Chris Richards, it seemed like is in this Palace squad just to add up numbers. He was playing only academy football not too long ago, so it's a bit confusing. He's had injury problems, I get it, but then again, when he has played, he's actually looked very solid. Like
Yeah,
surprisingly,
absolutely.
very
When he
solid.
finally got it, when he got the one time he got a run of games, he was player of the month.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. It's not even like man of the match, player of the month, and that speaks volumes to it. So I don't know exactly what it is. Maybe there's something behind the scenes that we don't know about between him and Roy, or there might be injuries because I know he's had a lot of injury concerns in the past. But look, if Chris Richards was to go out on loan, in all honesty, I don't think unless injuries happen, I don't think we're missing out on anything because we haven't really seen Chris Richards play under Roy anyways. It would just be a case of Tompkins comes in, and that even if Richards was to stay, that seems like that's going to be the way going forward anyway. So I don't think it'll be a massive miss, in all honesty, if he was to go. And it would probably make a bit more sense for him to leave out on loan to get a bit more experience. But I don't know what the chat thinks.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like the chat. It feels like it's kind of mixed. Looking here, so Red says Tompkins is not worth anything. I mean, my
Yeah,
thing,
yeah,
my thing is this. My thing is this. First and foremost, like not even from a player quality or minutes piece. We have 20 first team players right now. Why would we be thinking about getting rid of guys? Like we don't have the numbers right now to be getting rid of guys, because in the event that we get rid of Chris Richards, our center backs are then Gahey, Anderson, followed by an injury prone James Tompkins, and what, Joe Ward probably rotating in.
yeah. To be fair, that's a point that I didn't really think about. Now you said it. I think if O'Brien stayed, then it would have made a bit
Yeah,
more
it
sense,
probably
because
would have
then you
made
would
a
have had a
bit
bit
more
more depth
sense in
there.
that situation. But and another thing that I just can't see is, I mean, we talked about this in the Sheffield match. He's coming back from an injury. We're talking about Chris Richards. And that's probably why he didn't come on at the end of that match for those last 5 minutes. And that's also why he's probably playing with the U21s this past week. So if that's the case, and they're trying to build back, we truly don't, right now at least, have an overall view of how Roy really views him in the pecking order. If he's truly in that fourth spot, or if he's really in the third spot and he's just trying to get back. You know what I mean? But for me, where we are at center back right now, especially like first team center backs or traditional center backs, right now we have 4 of them. And that's what you should have, because we know injuries happen. We've seen it with our guys. We've seen it with Gahey and Anderson. They're not going to play every single game. Things are going to happen. Guys are going to have to step in. And if a guy does have to step in, I would prefer it to be Chris Richards right now. I mean, he's very much proven. He's done really well recently on the international level as a starter for his country. I don't know. I feel like asset wise, I just don't think that's a great move.
I can't lie. Yeah,
right now.
you've convinced me. You sold me. Because I'll be honest, up until the point about when I actually haven't thought about the depth like that. And you are right, unless there's a player in the academy that could potentially step up. But yeah,
The only one I can think of is
really
Graham, because we got rid of Balmer, but Graham's hurt. I heard.
Yeah. But then again, I thought we don't know what Roy thinks. Maybe Joe Wood can be a option as well to play at centre back. I've said it for years. I think Joe Wood's natural
Yeah, at this point,
progression.
especially
If he wants to stay and continue playing, I think he has to transition into a centre back. I think slowly his legs will go, and maybe he can play centre back.
And if we got rid of Richards and we did that and kind of transitioned him to center back, that would almost force us to have to bring in a right back. In my thoughts, it's like, why wouldn't you? If that's the way you're going to go. But
it depends if you're bringing someone on loan. But T, before I forget as well, thanks to everyone who joined us yesterday.
Absolutely.
Fantastic stream. I said over 200. I said 200 likes, and we smashed it over like 350.
Amazing, man.
Yeah,
that's amazing,
like 350
bro.
likes.
Shout out to all of you, man. That's huge, man.
Yeah, thanks to every single one of you. Unfortunately, today I'm outside right now. That's why I can't turn my camera on, and yeah, I'm trying to make sure my connection survives. But as you know, we're always trying to be here every single day. But thank you to every single one of you that's been supporting the channel. We've been trying to do daily content as much as we can. Tomorrow also, there'll be an opposition preview out. I'll speak to Dan Potts from the 12th Man podcast, also features on AFTV as well. And today, funny enough, I spoke to Arsenal fan Turkish from AFTV, recorded preview for their channel, and yeah, look, they are still optimistic about the season, but it's not as confident as they were before as well. So look, it's interesting. This game is going to be interesting on Monday night, so there'll be more content coming out. But before I forget, I just want to thank every single one of you for your support recently, and even if you're new here, really appreciate it as well. Welcome to the community.
I feel like that was one of the highest live streams that we had too, like just live people watching. I looked
Yeah,
over
but
the thing. I
you
think at
know,
one point we had like 180 people on. I was like, wow, that's dope, man.
yeah. As I've said, we're gonna go back to Palace news in just a second. But as I've said like many times, one like may seem insignificant, but it helps the algorithm. That's the most important thing. And then we
Yep,
can find people who's interested in Palace that might not know about the channel and keep growing it like that. The more people, the more we can potentially do in the future, the better content. So it's basically us. It's about how far we can take it. But yeah, look, thanks to every single one of you. And if you do enjoy this stream as well, if you can hit the like button, that'll be much appreciated.
absolutely. Well, moving right along with everything. News has come in that Palace has interest in Nottingham forward Emmanuel Dennis. Now, for those of you, little chuckle came in there, but for those of you that may or may not know, Emmanuel Dennis, as we said, currently is playing forward for Nottingham Forest. Went over to Nottingham Forest from Watford after Forest got promoted. Now, the connection here for us is the fact that Dennis was playing at Watford in his last season there under Roy. So apparently from the actual article here, which is from the Daily Record, not the Daily Record, but yeah, from the Daily Record. They were saying that Roy is really pushing for this move. Now, a player like Emmanuel Dennis it can come in handy in the fact that he plays across the front. He can play striker, left wing, right wing, shadow striker. So he has a lot of value as far as positional versatility. He didn't have such a great year for Nottingham last year. Not a lot of consistency in play time and appearances. But when he was with Roy at Watford, he scored a good amount of goals. Played over 20, had over 20 something appearances. So, D, what are your thoughts on the possibility of bringing in a guy like Emmanuel Dennis?
So I think the article suggested that it was Roy Hodgson that wants his move, which is interesting because, as we know, the manager doesn't really get to have a major say on our transfers. It's Dougie Friedman that make the transfers that fits the club, and the manager has to try and get the best out of the players. And we know that we need a forward. Whether that's a striker or left winger, for me, I think we need a striker ideally and a left winger for depth options and
Uh-huh,
even quality
uh-huh,
options.
uh-huh.
And Emmanuel Dennis. So I've done a bit of research as soon as the story popped up, and I spoke to Nottingham Forest fans about how he's going on there and whether they'll be okay with him leaving. And the thing that I've got is that he is frustratingly inconsistent at Forest. So it seemed like he just joined a team where he can't really get the best out of himself. He's not in the right environment. And
Mhm,
also,
mhm.
manager plays a big part to it. If he's been a success under Roy at Watford, and Roy knows his qualities, which is ever so more important because we know how important it is that Roy knows a player that gets to work with him because he
Yeah, if
likes
you
to.
if
We've
Roy if
seen it in
Roy
the past.
trusts you, Roy likes you, you in a good spot.
Exactly. And if Roy trusts him and if Roy wants him, then maybe we can get something out of a player who's been inconsistent. Yes, for Forest, but at Palace, moving to South London, working with the likes of Eze, Elise now because he's staying, and other players like maybe Decore if he stays, and Lerma, I think playing around better players, which I do think we have better players than Forest, could elevate his game as well. So it all depends on the finances. It depends on the deal.
Yeah.
But it is something that I could see happening. It makes
Mhm.
sense. He's not really getting that opportunity at Forest. It seems like Forest are done with him. Forest fans think he's inconsistent, and he might want to move to Palace to
Yep.
start his career once again in the Premier League under a manager that he's played for before. And I think if you add two and two together, it makes sense.
Yeah, it smells like a loan move type of situation to me. You know what I'm saying?
Um,
It smells like
yeah,
loan with a buy option to me.
I mean, if we talk about our finances, I guess a loan move would make more sense because I'll be honest, the loan market. I mean, last season we didn't use it at all,
We didn't use
as
it.
far as I
No,
can
we didn't
remember.
use it.
Exactly,
No.
yeah. And then when we have used it, I think why we're a bit skeptical about using the loan market is because when we have used it, we developed the players for other teams like Chelsea. and then literally give them 40 to 50 million pound players, and then next thing you know, they're trying to tamper with our players. But literally, the loan market could work, but it depends on whether Forest want the funds or whether they want to just loan him out. I suspect they might just want to sell him. I don't know why they would want to loan him out. He's not. How old is he?
He's 25.
Exactly. So he's not the youngest player, which I thought so. And there's no real reason to loan Emmanuel Dennis out. Do you get it? Like, I don't know. Normally, you might loan a player out. Like, for example, Tottenham with Spence. They can loan him out and try and hope for the best that he fixes attitude or fix whatever that's going on behind the scenes, that they can develop him into the player. Dennis is not old, but he's also at the age of 25, where if it's not working out, then you'd probably like to get free for him so you can just move on to other players in that area. And they've signed a lot of players we saw last year. So it might be one of those players that just didn't work out and they just want to move on, which I think makes sense. So I think it would probably require a permanent transfer. I'll be surprised if they loan him out, maybe to get rid of the wages of the wage book.
Well, I say,
Maybe
I mean, when you think about wages, I mean, if you get his wages off, which is probably circa 40 to 50,000 a week, it's in a decent loan fee, maybe $1 mil, $2 mil, high end $3 mil, with then a possible buy option that we would get in the process. I don't know. Maybe they may be interested in doing it.
Yeah, Alvin says, who are we talking about? We're talking about Emmanuel Dennis, who's been linked with a move. I think it was late last night. Roy, according to the reports anyways, Roy wants him. Roy's worked with him at Watford. And he's a forward that can play along the front three, basically. So he has that versatility. But
Bollocks has a good point here. FFP swerve. That loan move. That loan move.
What are we swerving? I mean,
well, if we loan him, then we don't have to. We kind of, go around any FFP issues that we might incur with buying.
Are we that tight though?
I hope not. I don't know, but
I don't think our situation is that like I'll be surprised if it's that tight.
Tim says exactly.
The fact that we need to learn to avoid FFP.
Had to do the loan because of FFP restrictions. Like, I guess that's kind of similar. Like,
they're talking about Newcastle. I think they're talking about.
Are they talking about? Okay, gotcha. Okay,
yeah, because I think Newcastle getting Loose Hall on loan with an option to buy next season. I think that's what they're talking about. I mean, with Palace, I mean, we spent 20 million euro or 25 million.
I hope not. I was like, are we that strapped?
Spent about 20 million pounds, and we're talking about FFP after 20 million pounds. I mean, if that's the case, then there is something seriously going wrong. And I'll be honest, people. I think there's a report that came out whilst we were on this live stream. I won't be surprised if Cheick Doucouré gets sold. I'll be honest. And
what makes you say that?
It'll be nice to actually sit down, because I'm outside right now. It's hard to talk about Palace. I just feel like I'm just talking to my phone. But it wouldn't surprise me if Doucouré was sold for a very good price, because the feeling that I'm getting from Liverpool fans is that they have entered desperation mode, or where they need to sign a holding midfielder.
Even with going out and getting the guy from
it's not enough. Ender's not enough. Cheick Doucouré is still on the list, and it seemed like Palace support a price tag of £70 million, which I 100% agree with. I've said £70 million all along. I think 80 might be a bit too much, 60 a bit too low. 70 million sounds ideal, but like, for example, even Grizz Khan, who's a content creator for Liverpool, and he's got Liverpool sources that look, they all have put their hopes on Cheick Doucouré. It seems like Liverpool are pushing for him, and I'll be honest, keeping Eze and losing Doucouré, I don't know what it is. I think it might be Lerma that gives me that confidence that if you lost Doucouré for £70 million and reinvested that back into the squad, where we can probably sign a holding midfielder and other positions. I think that Lerma signing has just given me that confidence that we can.
I think you're right. I think that's the thing that kind of gives you some assurance. In the event that it does happen, that's probably the thing that gives you the assurance, is because we have a ready-made replacement already on our team. So that's a great thing too.
So I'll be honest. We're talking about no big signings leaving, but I think Liverpool came to the table with £70 million. I just think that's too good of an offer to just turn down. and I wouldn't blame the club if they didn't turn it down. I think £70 million for Doucouré, who's a fantastic player, who's been on Liverpool's radar before we even signed him, makes sense for all parties. The only issue is the timing, right? Because we're
Yeah.
entering the last, not even 2 weeks, last 10 days of the window. Well, 10 to 12, I think. So that's the only issue. But then again, right now, I'd suspect with the Elise saga over, I'd suspect that we probably should have holding midfielders on our on our radar in case the Corey was to leave. And look, £70 million. Would you be too upset with that, T?
I would personally, only because of what I've seen other guys already go for. I feel like I would want more, just to be honest. But that's just me personally, because I think that he's on the same quality level as Caicedo. That's just me though. Like I mean, at least within 10 million of him. Like
Yeah,
I don't
Ben.
think there's that much of a difference, especially because Czech's a better defender. Period.
Yeah, Ben makes a good, a point about learn what isn't a replacement is the other side of a double pivot. Yeah, but we got someone there where we saw it last season, for example, with Doucouré holding it down. I think
Yeah,
if we were to sell Doucouré,
we're
we
not
would
gonna be
get
playing a
another
double pivot.
midfielder. Yeah,
We're probably not gonna be
would
playing a
get.
double pivot, at least not at first.
Yeah, exactly. So we could probably adjust to that. But
Yeah,
at the
we'll
end of
probably
the
go
day, if
four
we
three
sold him for
three.
£70 million, I suspect we'll bring in another midfielder. Maybe not for 50, but even like a £30 million midfielder from one of these European leagues. Look, Dougie, when he has found a player, he doesn't really often go wrong. Like he's had more successes than fails, in my opinion. I think he's been very good in that aspect. So if you give him a £70 million budget, you're basically saying go out there and find a midfielder that is, maybe less than £40 million. I think he should be
I
able to
wouldn't be
do that.
upset. I wouldn't be upset with 70 though. I wouldn't be
Yeah.
upset with it because that gives us like if we get 70 for Doucouré, we could probably bring in 3 guys with that if we do it the right way. So I
That's the
wouldn't be
thing.
upset.
I know people are saying who would step in. And right now, yes, you are right. If we were to send him for £70 million, there isn't anyone to step in to match Doucouré's quality in the squad. But the only condition that I'll sell Doucouré is, and I think the only condition the club will sell Doucouré is the price tag in matches what we want, £70 million, and on
And
top
we
of
gotta
that,
have
we
somebody coming in. We gotta have ready made. We gotta have
exactly,
our eyes
and
on
I'm
somebody
basing
to
that
bring
on
in.
that theory. I don't think the club will sell Doucouré regardless of the price if we don't have a replacement lined up. And I think
Exactly.
we will most likely have a replacement lined up. So if it's a case of bringing in £70 million and getting in another replacement for Doucouré, while still having Lerma there, where at least if the replacement isn't as great as we expected, there is still Lerma there to hold it down. So I don't think it'll be the end of the world. So based on them conditions, I think sending Doucouré for £70 million will be good business in today's market if we do have a replacement lined up, which I think if we were to sell him, that will be the case in the first place.
It's one of those things for me. If we are going to do that, if we like, it's like Paul said, it's late. It's late in the window. If we're going to sell him, we need to sell him soon. It has to be soon. Like
Well, we don't.
I don't want us going down to the last week of the window trying to make that move.
Well, if we sell him, you can say we have to sell him today or tomorrow. But for me, you it doesn't. Well, ideally, the sooner you sell him, the better it is. Yes, you have a bit more time. But as I said, my condition for selling the Corey in the first place is that you have a replacement lined up.
Right.
So we could sell
Right.
Doucouré next week as long as the replacement is lined up for Doucouré and the club are actually happy with that replacement. And it's not just bringing in a player for the sake of replacing Doucouré, whereas bringing in a quality player that could that is still young, that could develop, that fits what we want. Then if we do have a player like that, then we can sell Doucouré even next week and survive with it. The most important thing is the replacement. If we don't have a replacement lined up, even if you sold Doucouré today, then I wouldn't sell him. That's my condition.
Yeah, I mean,
Who do you
because we
bring in
don't
for
have to
Doucouré?
sell. We're not in a position to. We don't have. I think the best part about all of this is that we don't have to sell. I
Exactly,
think.
exactly. There's no
Yeah.
release clause as far as we know. You never know with Palace because that Elise thing we dodged a bullet, but he was nearly gone for £35 million.
Right.
As long as there's no release clause, we don't have to sell. and
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we will, unless it's something very good, and unless we got a replacement lined up. And I
Absolutely.
have faith in Dougie. We can talk about the owners all we want, and you can question this one or that one or what they want. But the one man that even John Texer has said as well, and Steve Parish clearly raised Dougie as well, is that every owner thinks Dougie Friedman is very good at his job. So as long as Dougie has a replacement lined up, then I'm not as worried. £70 million. Let us deep it. £70 million. That is very good money. That is money where you can, replace the Core with another player. Now, I'm not saying that player will match the Core. Maybe the replacement might match him, or it might be better, it might be a little bit worse off. And on top of that, you can get a quality forward.
Yep,
Now,
you
the
could.
Emmanuel Dennis that we're talking about, we could probably do better than that. And that could improve the overall squad. Losing the core will be massive whenever he
Mm-hmm.
leaves, whether it's this window or next window, because he's a quality player. But if you bring in someone that could be on the same wavelength or just a little bit worse off than the core, and then
Because
bring
I
in
mean,
a quality
there's
forward,
some good guys, there's some good replacements out there I could think of
yeah,
that you can
that's what I'm
go
saying
get
with the holding
too.
midfielder. I,
Yeah,
I think you can replace him. Look, the problem is with forwards, with strikers. I think that's the market where it costs to bring in quality. Now, if we sold the core for £70 million and we brought in a replacement, let's say of 20 to 30, then you got good amount of money to bring in a forward where
I
we
mean, we
know
got
it costs
Decore for
money to bring in
20.
quality forward.
I mean, we got Decore for 20. Like,
Exactly. Do you get it?
yep.
So, but with a striker, quality striker, you told me where you're going to find someone who is a quality striker for £20 million. It's very hard. It's very hard.
You're
And
definitely
you
taking a
know,
risk because they're probably not playing in a Premier League level league or situation.
yeah.
They
Look,
may have the
just
quality, but you don't know if they can cut it in our league. So there's going to be a little bit of a risk for sure if you're bringing somebody in at that level.
we want to keep all of our best players. I think everyone wants to do that in the ideal world. But realistically, with how Palace are operating right now, there is, I don't know if you say there's a problem, but there's something going on behind the scenes with who wants to put in how much money. John Texas seems like he doesn't want to put in more money because he wants a bit more of a say. So there is a problem with cash in that aspect,
Mm-hmm.
because not every owner is aligned with what they want to do with the football club going forward. So we will have to sell some of these players at some point. But I have so much more confidence now. Even
Yeah.
Elise, look, I'm mentally preparing for Elise to leave next summer. He might stay for 4 years. He might leave next summer. But I'm more confident now that even if Elise was to leave next summer, he will leave on our terms. He will leave for a good price where we can get in a replacement rather than
Yeah.
£35 million.
Yep.
And I think that's the most important thing. As long as we get decent money for these quality players that we've signed on for, then the replacement, that's going to be, it's not going to be easy. It will be tricky, but it's something that we have to try at some point. Can Dougie do this part? He's very good at scouting these players, and he has done a fantastic job, because look at, we don't even talk about Anderson or Gay because they're not linked with a move away from the club. There's a lot
Mm-hmm.
of quality players in this team that you can sell on for value. But the question that hasn't been answered and won't be answered is, can we replace these players, and how good of a job can he do there? And
Mm-hmm.
one day we're going to have to face that, unless our ownership changes, which I don't really see it happening right now.
Yeah, and I fully agree with you. I think that the thing that you have to appreciate with Dougie is the fact that he's finding high level talent at affordable prices. And long may it rain. It's like one of those things. Hope it continues. Hope he keeps having his ear to the street and being able to find those guys that can come in at lower cost and leave out 3-4 times what they came in for. Because I mean, right now we're talking about a guy, Check Decore, who we bought for 20 million, who is probably going to leave out for 70 or more. Like
That's very
that's what
good.
you want to see. That's
Very
that's
good.
what you after 1 year.
You know,
After 1 year.
yeah. So exactly, player. So he joins Palace after 1 year, £20 million, player of the season, and he moves on for 70 million. Now, of course, you want to keep the likes of Decore in your team, and there's a reason why Liverpool are interested in Decore in the first place, is
Mm-hmm.
because he's a quality holding midfielder. He is
Yep.
press resistant, he's good at tackling, and he's only going to improve with more experience in the Premier League, which we've seen, because even when Roy came in, we saw it. Decore didn't pick up as many yellow cards. So slow improvements like that has been happening already.
Yep.
And yes, you do want to keep him, but then again, for you to realistically keep Decore and to try to build the squad, it's going to be hard. We can see it. Like, our budget is not as much. Even if we keep Elise, it's not as much, and we still need to strengthen the squad. For me, I wouldn't. Look, I'll be honest. If they don't pay £70 million, I'm over the moon at the Chorus staying. But if they pay £70 million, and I'm also excited to see what we can do with that money. That's also another excitement. How can we improve the overall squad rather than just holding midfielder? So I think both ways. For me personally, I don't think it would be absolutely crazy if we were to sell him, even at this point of the window.
This is an interesting take here from Ronan here. So Ronan, I would say yes and no. Yes, because Anderson has played defensive midfield for Denmark. He's played there. He started there. He's had an experience. My question is, how would he do in the Premier League? I guess that's kind of like the no that's in there. I'm not sure how we would feel about that, but that's a decent inquiry there.
And the I don't want to sound negative about Roy, but I mean, I just in an ideal scenario, yes, but I just don't see Roy realistically doing it. I don't know about you, T. You know, we're talking about Richards not even coming on the pitch when Gay's injured. Now all of a sudden he's going to be starting, and Anderson's going to shift from centre back to DM. I think that's too risky by Roy's standards.
I think it once again just depends on, like you said earlier, how Roy sees Richards. You know,
well, right now it seems like he doesn't rate him highly.
Well, I mean, like I said, we don't know because, like I said, it seems like some of the stuff that Richards is going through is rehab from the injury that he suffered in preseason. Because he was doing really well, he's playing a lot in preseason, and he had the little setback, and that's what saw him make the bench for Sheffield, but then playing the U21s game. So, like, I would like to let some time play out to see if or what Roy's view of him is. And I guess that type of thing would have to play into whether we could see a move similar to what Ronan was saying. But moving on to our last subject before we get out of here, Crystal Palace are considering a cut price deal for Kerr Smith. The English side are keen on letting the young Scottish youth from Aston Villa. The young Scottish youth from Aston Villa has had a long-term admirer of him. That's from the Daily Record. Deal could be done. That's from the Daily Record. So Kerr Smith is he's like a U21 guy. I don't think he's really getting time with Aston Villa. Is this a U21 move?
Can you hear me still? By the way,
it's kind of like echoing.
Okay, cool. I don't know what's happened, but yeah, let's not even waste too much time on this. I haven't watched him play, and I don't think he's going to be coming for first team. In all honesty,
all honesty, I think it's the same thing. I think it's probably a U21 move. Naturally, because we lost Balmer. I think Graham is hurt right now. So you get him to play next to Francis. It kind of makes sense there, but you know.
Yeah, I think the same as well.
Yeah. Okay. Well, right on. Well, we appreciate everything. Appreciate you all tuning in to another edition of the Palace News. Thank you to Dee for making his way out and being able to join me even on the phone. Crook. I appreciate it, man.
No worries, bro. We're always here. Yeah, as I said, people, tomorrow there's more content coming out, so keep your eyes peeled for that. 5 p.m. UK time, opposition preview.
Absolutely. Well, don't forget everybody to like, comment, subscribe. We really appreciate it. We'll be back for more. Actually, we have the match reaction Monday. Don't forget. We'll play until Monday. Enjoy your weekend. And we'll see you all on Monday. Up the Palace.
Up the Palace.